Hey guys, I'm FilthyRobot. Welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons. Where we left off, the party had failed and was talking about their failure and trying to be less of a failure, but not succeeding very well. And you could say they were failing. But we were at the end of that, discussing what we were potentially going to do, potentially trapping the area or something of that nature to try to have some ability to catch this wizard. And our ranger heard something. We don't know quite what it is yet. Wings and crunching of gravel, and we're about to experience what that is. So take it away, Solitaire.
Okay. So you guys continue to hear these, like, just standard walking pace style crunching on the gravel. And then rounding the corner, sort of entering the former building space, you see an elven woman with dark hair. Like, long dark hair.
Is it Halia?
No, it's not Halia. Halia was human. This does, however, look like the elf who was with Halia the first time you met her. The second time you met her, even. She walks in, and she has a dark reddish-brown creature on her shoulder with, like, very large, bulbous, shining turquoise eyes. Like, pupilless, just these spheres for eyes. And it takes off from her shoulder and, like, floats over to you, Erifror, and just, like, flies in front of you, like, maybe half a foot in front of your face, right? And you're, like, fucking weirded out by these, like, massive eyes just in front of you. And he, like, gives you, like, almost a small smirking smile to one side of his face, and he does, like, a backwards loop-de-loop to, like, appear at her side again. And she approaches and says, yes, well, Halia would like to speak to you.
Oh, okay. We'll stop by sometime.
She would like to speak to you quite soon, yes.
Yes, we'll stop by quite soon.
Come with me, please.
Wait, I want to ask, how did you find us? Like, how did you know where to exactly look for us?
She reaches up to the creature and, like, kind of, like, strokes it behind the head. And it looks directly at you, Eryn, and gives you a smile.
What was the flapping sound of the creature flying next to the dwarf the same flapping sound that we heard, like, just moments before?
It matches the sound, yes.
Okay, cool.
I see.
Okay, well.
I guess we follow then.
Yeah.
She turns on her heels and, like, starts walking down the steps. She's got, like, a wand at her side, which is like a branch of some kind. She continues walking down the path, occasionally, like, turning towards the creature, talking to it, and then, like, the creature seemingly saying something to her, but, like, it's not making any sound as it does this. And at one point it flies up off of her shoulder, and flies off ahead.
Could we hear what she was saying?
No, she seemingly said nothing. So you guys continue walking with her, and then you walk just along the natural path of the town. I'll move you guys back to the town map.
Is everyone walking with her?
I presume everybody is, yeah?
That's why I'm asking.
I do.
Does anybody not? Okay, so you guys, as a group, walk together, and you head back towards the town square. And you hear that there's quite a lot of ruckus coming from the Stonehill Inn. You guys kind of, like, peer through one of the windows at one point, and it's really crowded in there just now, and, like, everybody's standing up at this point, right? And there are a couple of, like, townsfolk who are, like, still rushing towards the Stonehill Inn as well that you guys see, and they look really excited, right? You guys take a left there and head down towards the Miners' Exchange. heads towards the miners' exchange inside, and the woman holds the door open for you all to walk in.
Okay, walk in then.
All of you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's party time. Let's get this going.
No, this is the miners' exchange. This is not the inn.
Oh crap! I thought. Sorry, I thought we were going to then.
All right.
Sure. The miners' exchange, fine.
All right. So you guys walk in, and she says to you, "You know where she is waiting."
All right. Go ahead.
There you go.
Go down there.
Deep breath.
Into the failure pit.
That's right. Face our humiliations.
Okay. So you guys go through the back room, through the door, you kind of like open it, and then it's the L-shaped corridor. Go around the door at the end. You guys open the door, and you see Halia with her back to you against the table, and she's like looking at something which is currently obscured from you. You guys walk in and walk around like two to either side, and you see the same wizard sitting in front of her, tied up and gagged.
Worked out perfectly.
Yes.
I crack my fingers behind my head, and I say, like that, and I say, job well done.
Money.
The woman walks in behind you, again with the creature on her shoulder, and she closes the door behind herself. Halia turns, and like the wizard's completely like wide-eyed. He's been completely gagged and like his hands bound. You see the staff is resting against one corner, along with the bag that's there as well. Halia turns around and looks towards the four of you, and says, "So, well, mission success, right?"
Yes, exactly. He's here just as you asked.
Yeah. Tell me how you captured him.
Oh well, we scared him away, assuming he would. Assuming you would end up catching him. You wanted us to get him out of his manor, yes?
I don't think that was what I asked you.
It worked out, yes.
I speak up. I say, we have his correspondences. There's some very interesting stuff in there. I think this was part of our deal, correct?
There's something much more valuable than correspondence, trust me.
Oh, yeah?
I have him. I have the horse's mouth.
Perfect. So is there anything else that you wanted from him? You have him. You have his materials. He's here.
He is.
Where did you
I
find
hope you
him?
managed to find whatever valuable things you did in the manor. I hope you had a good time in there the last 5 hours. But, well, when one employs a group she does not know very well, you make contingency plans.
I'm glad it worked out. We attempted with no success to peacefully talk with him, to bring him in. It has saved us some serious time and effort, you running him down as opposed to us when he fled.
May I ask where and how did you manage to capture him? Because we were trying to track him, but
she looks towards the other elven woman, and she like looks towards you, Eryn. Says, "Well, I have ways of keeping an eye on people."
So was he like flying, or?
No, he was up a tree.
That wouldn't leave like some kind of
I'm
tracks, like giant, like the bark wouldn't be torn away or something
That-
from climbing.
Are you saying this in character?
No.
No.
No, he's not.
Or a giant shadow, for that matter, but okay.
Forget either of those. If the tracks ended directly at a tree, wouldn't
It
someone...
didn't end directly at a tree. It was in a glade. Like, it was in the middle of a series of trees. Like, it was like an opening, I guess. But, like, it wasn't at a tree. Like, they didn't lead to a tree and then stop. Like, it stopped just in the middle of fucking nothing.
Okay, so Nalla turns to Eryn and she's just like, ugh, why did you not look up when looking for tracks?
I remain silent. No.
Okay, well, it still ended up just the way you wanted it, so everything is good, yes?
The elven woman turns towards you and said, I did appreciate you leaving him so I could actually get to him.
And if we did not go there, then he would still be in the manor with all of his bodyguards. So we did exactly what you asked. We got him out so that you could capture him. Close enough.
That was not even close to what I asked you to do.
You have him. It's good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I had not made contingency plans, would he have been here?
Well, we would still be working on it, so he wouldn't be here now, but we still would have got the job done.
And if we hadn't gone into the manor, he wouldn't be out here at all.
Exactly.
He would still have been in the manor, and I would have been able to employ somebody else to do this job. What are you expecting from this conversation?
Well, you called us here, so I'd like to ask you that.
All right. Well, first of all, to let you know, I'm disappointed. Well, I'm quite sure you can understand why. Although I'm fairly sure you're disappointed in your own skills also.
He's here.
Oh, well, ma'am, if I may, you would need evidence of his acts as well, and we did, retrieve such evidence, and I take out the letter. Well, you need the person and the evidence. We procured the evidence, and I pass it to her. The letter.
Okay. She takes the letter. She looks at it. She says, well, nothing I didn't already suspect, but it's good to know that you have allies in Vrol also, Yarno. She says this to the man. Yes, this is fairly useful. I will accept this as a peace offering for your failures.
Well, it's part and parcel of investigating.
Okay, so, now that is done, did you have any other jobs?
Perhaps more to your skill level?
No, I mean, it was successful, so whatever.
Well, maybe there is something.
And at this point, it's like almost nighttime?
No, it's still like late afternoon.
Okay. Okay, how about we go to the inn for a while and we see if maybe there isn't something you want us to do tomorrow.
All right. You're free to go if you wish. I'm not stopping you.
Anyone else? Comments?
Sorry, what did you say exactly?
I suggested that we, since it's late, or not late, but like becoming evening, that we all go to the inn and hang out for the night, and then come back and see if, based on any revelations that she gets with the guy, her prisoner, then to see if she has any work for us tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So you guys walk out of the inn?
Yes.
Sorry, out of the Miner's Guild?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you do?
go to the Stonehill Inn to join in the festivities.
Okay, so you guys head over to the Stonehill Inn, and it's really difficult to actually get inside. You see lots and lots of townspeople in this place, and you see up on the stage where there's normally like music being played, there are 4 individuals. One of them is Toblin Stonehill, who was the proprietor of this place. But also you see 3 like adventurous-looking individuals. So one dragonborn.
Wow.
One human with 2 ravens on his shoulders. And one rat-like individual. The likes of which you've never seen before. He's very short, he's like between 3 and 4 feet tall. And he's got a staff in one hand that he's propped up against it. He's wearing like this black mask over half of his face.
So he's as tall as I am, essentially.
Basically, yeah. You're probably a little bit taller than he is. The Dragonborn is over 7 feet tall. So the size comparison between these two is quite funny, but they're staggered in a way. The human is on the end. He's very old looking, and he's like resting on a staff as he's like standing up here with like a very like friendly looking face, however. And Toblin turns around and says, "And it's thanks to these 3 that our people were able to be returned to us." And there's lots of like cheering from the crowd and like whooping for them and stuff. And the Dragonborn looks kind of uncomfortable as he's like looking around.
Wait, these 3 is in those 3 dudes that
he
you just
motions to
described?
these 3 who are up on the stage with them. And he says, "If it's okay, I'd like to introduce our heroes to everybody." And he says, "First, the blue Dragonborn from the hills of Pavonis. This is Belisarius." And the Dragonborn kind of like sheepishly almost like nods his head towards everybody, like seemingly uncomfortable in this sort of social situation. And he says, "And then from the deepest parts of the Copper Hills, we have Kutarana." And the ratling just kind of like squeaks a little bit. It's really difficult to read his emotions because like he's a rat, right? Like you're not sure what the hell's going on with his face. And then he says, "And then from somewhere, I'm not too sure, but we have Einar as well." And the human man just like nods to everybody and like puts his hand up and like appreciates. And like the 2 ravens like look around a bit, and one of them caws. It's like, "Caw!" And then Toblin turns around to the rest of you. "And thanks to these 3, finally, we've been rid of the Scourge, and we've had our people returned to us. So it's as good a reason as any to celebrate. So enjoy the rest of the night, and make sure to thank these brave individuals for their great sacrifice." And there's just lots of cheering and like whooping for them. And then also to one side, also on the stage, but like on 2 chairs to the side, there's an elf there who's like younger looking. And he's kind of bookish, but his like clothes are all tattered. And his face is like really dirty, and he just looks really worn and tired, right? And then next to him is a human with sort of dirtied hair and like scratched, a severely scratched face with like blood kind of like caked onto it. And he's wearing like the remnants of armor that's just been hastily strapped on. And they're just like, they look exhausted as they're sitting on these chairs to the side of the stage. And the human is actually, his arm is in a sling as well. Yeah, so what do you guys want to do?
Join in the festivities.
All right. Bye. So you guys go up to the bar and order drinks, I guess?
Yes, order ale, yes.
Okay, so Toblin has returned to the bar, and he says, "Ah, yes, a newcomer in town. What can I get for you?"
Weren't we already?
Drinks for everyone. Just my group.
Wait.
There's a good
We aren't
caveat there.
newcomers. We aren't newcomers, right? We've been to the Stonehill Inn before.
Yeah, just very briefly. Yes.
Right.
And you've recognized him, but he doesn't seemingly recognize you. So you order like a round of ales.
Mm-hmm. Just
You'll take them. Yep.
I'll have 2, please.
You order 5 ales. And he says, that'll be 2.5 gold pieces, please.
Sure. Pay it up.
All right, mark them off.
2.5.
Minus 2.5.
I don't want one. You can have just -2. You can have your 2.
The Dragonborn kind of like stands off the stage. He's very easy to see. He's easily a foot taller than everybody in this room. And he walks over to a particularly proud-looking elven gentleman who's in the crowd. He's got like very long silverish gold hair. And you guys aren't terribly far, and this Dragonborn's voice is like really fucking loud when he talks, right? And it's sort of like, it reminds you, Erifror, of like a thunderstorm when he's talking. And he says to this guy, he says, "Darn, I think I managed to find one of your swords down there as well." And he like produces a sword from a scabbard. And like the elf looks like very proud. You can't hear what the elf says. He's like a little bit too far away. But he puts it back into the scabbard and like produces it to the elf. And like there's some more clapping around what's happening there. And the elf like puts his hand on the Dragonborn's shoulder. And he kind of like kneels down a little bit in order to like come to height with him. Yeah. You guys want to do anything or interact with anyone, or?
Yeah, I think we do. Is there any tables that are like half full but not entirely full?
No, everything's taken. Like, you would need to stand if you're drinking.
Are there other people standing?
Like, for the most part, the tables have actually been, like, moved away to the sides. And there are people, like, sitting on the benches at the tables, and there are people sitting on the tables themselves. And it's created this almost, like, open, like, dance floor area, like, clearing there. Sorry, what was your question? Are there...
Well, I'll follow up on that rather than reiterate.
Okay,
So
sure.
the people who are doing this thing that we're encountering are in the center of this clearing, basically doing this?
Kind of. They've like separated into different groups of people, and like there are various different groups talking to these individuals at this point.
So we've gone up to collect the beers, and can I ask the barkeep over there? Say, what's happening?
He says to you, "Well, these 3 individuals, they came into town, and apparently they're good friend of Darren over there." And he points to the silver, gold-haired elf that's there. And he says, well, over the last couple of months, there have been a couple of abductions, and then I remember you see the 2 over there on the side." And he like points up to the stage to the human and the elf who are like sitting in the chairs, like injured. And the older human guy with the 2 ravens on his shoulders is also like talking to them at this point, like still crouched on his staff. He says, "Well, those 2 entered, I don't know, maybe just over a month ago or so. And, well, their party fell to an ill fate. But fortunately, those 2 managed to survive, and apparently they were being held prisoner in there. Not a desirable outcome for anybody, but it's good to see they're still alive. But yes, so they went in there, and they managed to rescue the prisoners, and get out of there with them, and it's the first real blow that the Red Brands have suffered since they've taken over this town.
An uplifting story. Thank you. And I will leave with the beers. Head back to the group, share the information, say, looks like we have some local heroes we're celebrating tonight.
Didn't we just kill a bunch of Red Brand?
I just laugh, and then I head up to my rooms.
What the heck were these guys at?
So at this point, Darren, as has been referenced, goes up to the stage and says, well, everybody, we all can thank these individuals with voices as much as we like, but perhaps donations would be absolutely welcome for their cause. And the Dragonborn again sort of like calls over to him from the crowd and says, Darren, that won't be necessary. Don't worry too much about it. We'll talk about this later. But please, folks, don't worry about donations. You've suffered quite enough in this town. And Darren looks a little bit embarrassed that he's up there. But he gives like almost a smile of pride towards him. And then like steps down from the stage. And then a human female goes up there and starts playing a lute and singing to the crowd.
Is the three other adventurers, are they like drinking also? Are they just hanging out?
Yes, they are. So except for the older guy, he's not drinking. He's just talking to these two injured guys. But the rat or the Skaven and the Dragonborn, they are drinking, yes.
Holy shit. Is that it?
I'm just drinking my beer and then just observing, not saying or not talking to anyone.
So who the heck are these guys? Competition? Or friends?
I don't know.
Currently entirely neutral.
Uh-huh.
It seems like they went to the same place as we did, so maybe we can assume they were the ones that dealt with the undead and the cells.
Yep.
So the Dragonborn's back, by the way, is a 8-foot-long greatsword.
I wouldn't mind that.
It's like...
So, shall we go introduce ourselves?
I don't know, if you want to, you can go.
Alright, now we'll go up to the Dragonborn.
I personally don't want to talk to them.
Okay. The crowd kind of parts, like they see you're Goliath, so you're pretty fucking big. Not as tall as the Dragonborn, but the Dragonborn turns around, and it's in a very lizard-like manner, sort of neck first, and then torso following afterwards. And he's got a very long tail as well. So a lot of people are just dodging out of the way, and you can see these sort of bony spikes emanating from his spine, and then all the way down to the tail, where it's sort of like a clubbed end. And he's got this fanged maw that doesn't really shut properly, Anyway, he turns towards you, says, well, he doesn't say anything, he just turns towards you. And the crowd seems to have gone quiet at this point, no one really knows what's going on.
Well, hello, the innkeeper says you are Barros, yes? You were at the manor and killed many Red Brand, yes?
It's Belisarius, and yes, I was.
We were just up there too. My name is Nalla. How are you?
A little bit tired, but feeling accomplished.
Yeah, I can understand. We are also tired. Me and my friends here, and Nalla points back. It doesn't introduce them. We're also tired. But I'm curious, where do you plan on going next?
We'll go wherever really needs help. We're
I
just...
see.
We saw that this town was in trouble when we were coming through here. We decided that... Well, I don't really like prisoners being kept against their will.
Where did you come from?
I come from Pomonis.
Does anyone know where that's at? Like, does anyone know?
I'm in the room.
None of you know, like...
Ah, I have no idea where that is. Is that south, north? Where? Is it desert? Is it the forest? Is it the city?
It's a city in the hills to the east of here.
Very far?
What about you? Where are you from?
Oh, up in the mountains, far to the south.
And what are you doing here? You look fit for a fight.
Oh, some of the time, yes. We were also looking for adventure. And we come and ended up killing many Red Brand also. So
Did
it
you know?
appears... Yes, it appears we are allies.
He, like, turns towards the right and, like, shouts out, Kotorana! And, the Skaven comes up and, like, joins the two of you. And he barely comes up to this Dragonborn's knee, right? Like, he's tiny.
Very similar to Nalla and Erifror, yeah.
He, like, turns towards Kotorana and says, Did you see any other adventurers down there in the dungeon? And Kotorana, like, almost rat-like, like, looks up towards him, looks towards you, like, looks towards him, looks towards you, like, very quickly in rapid succession, and says, No, so no one else, no one, anyone, no one. And Belisarius, like, turns back towards you and says, Tell me, how long ago were you in there?
Or maybe a couple hours. How about you?
Well, we left this morning, so maybe about 12, 13 hours ago, something like that.
This is very interesting timing. We seem to have just missed each other.
Really?
Yes, I'm
It's
curious.
unfortunate for your part you couldn't have dealt with some of them before we got in there.
Well, it's not our fault you beat us to it.
I suppose not. Wouldn't want to make it any easier on ourselves.
Well, you seem to have managed just fine, just as we did, so all is well. The Red Brands are dealt with.
Good job.
Yes, you too. So what was done there? You killed many Red Brand and skeletons, I think?
Yes, humans, skeletons, some strange creature. Einar told me it was a Nothic, I think it was called. I didn't care. The eye didn't survive to my blade anyway. And the rat, like, turns towards Belisarius and says, Your blade? Your sword? It was my fist that did it, Belisarius. And he
The rat says that?
down to, yeah, the Skaven says that. And the Dragonborn turns towards him and says, Yeah, whatever you say.
Wait, you mean you guys did not keep track, keep score?
Amateur style.
Okay, so who paid you to go down there? Anyone?
Nobody.
Oh, I see.
Amateur
Where and
style.
You're not there.
there you go. Well, we also need some rest. I'm curious if you decide where you're headed next, if you let us know.
Why?
Well, if you go somewhere and kill everything, then there's no reason for us to go there because there's nothing to kill there.
Mm-hmm. Well, regardless, I'm glad you managed to find things to kill in those dungeons.
Yes,
But
you
my
like
curiosity My curiosity is why were you there? And like everybody's like really quiet at this point and just like listening to this conversation.
Oh, well, we had to bring someone with us. We had to talk with him very politely.
He like crosses his arms over his chest, and like the natural curvature of like his pectoral, like it comes out, his sternum, it like comes up in a sort of like hooked over shape, and he like brings his head in a little bit and says, "Who?"
Oh, the wizard down there. Yes, the wizard. We needed to talk with him. He's an interesting friend of ours.
He like turns towards the right and he says, "We didn't see any wizard down there. Which wizard?" At this point, a human man wades through the crowd, and he's wearing a chainmail hauberk, and it's got a tabard on it as well. And the stylization of the tabard is it's red with a sort of like golden crown above the left breastplate. All right.
Wait, so this human, and where was he before?
He was just over to the side, like just not really part of this conversation. But having heard this, he like walks up towards you guys, right?
Okay.
And
right
he's
now,
like an older looking guy. Well, not older. He's like between 40 and 50, sort of like salt and pepper hair. Looks like a well-traveled guy, probably quite experienced sort of fellow is like what you see from him. And he's still in this like chainmail hauberk. And he walks up to you and says, "What wizard?"
what was his name?
Glass something.
Nope.
Last something.
Nope. It was like
No?
it was that weird eye now name. Like
I'll write it in chat.
Iano.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Oh, you mean the different one? I thought we were talking the one that was captured.
He's talking to Xylo. What do you say?
Well, I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that
There you
we
go.
were supposed to
It's in
capture.
chat. It's in chat.
Okay. Then that guy. Oh, I forget his name. I think Iarno something.
Like you see the human in his like eyes, kind of like there's almost a flash across them. You're not sure what emotion it is that goes across, but his eyes like narrow on you and say, "What happened?"
Well, he did not want to talk and ran away.
Yes, and then
And then nothing. Then he ran away and we couldn't talk. What, and then?
so where is he now?
I don't know.
I'm a deception check.
God damn it.
natural 20.
Should've just fucking went to bed.
I say this now. He rolled a natural 1 on his insight.
Okay, so...
It's not. Oh, do we do critical fails or no? Do
No,
they both-
you don't for skill checks. You don't for skill checks. Only for attacks.
but because mine is lower, I think he still determines.
He knows
Unless-
you're lying. He knows you're lying.
His insight modifier is 0, not -1.
He's got more than 8 charisma.
Well, it would be wisdom, so he has more than 8 wisdom.
Sorry, yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah.
He says to you, "Where is he?"
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, it turns towards him. Says, "Sildar, is there some kind of problem here? Who is this wizard?" The human man turns towards Belisarius and says, "This is the man I have been looking for, and this individual knows where he is and is not telling me, and she is lying."
Okay, just a second. So this other guy that was off in the corner who was wearing that fancy crap that you were talking about is the one who is asking that, and right now he's talking to the wizard with the ravens on his shoulders.
No. This is a different human. Okay, this is an entirely different human. The human you saw up on the stage was like wearing this sort of like scrapped together chainmail armor. This guy is sort of like got a blue and silver motif, right? This guy who just walked up, he looks fresh, experienced but fresh. He's wearing a chainmail hauberk with a red and gold tabard on it.
Right, but he just talked to someone. Who was that someone he was talking to?
He wasn't talking to anyone.
He was talking to Belisarius, though, right?
He had talked to Belisarius, but he wasn't just talking to him.
Gotcha. And Nalla's not doing anything. She's just drinking.
The Dragonborn turns towards you and says, "Well, it seems like you have information that my friend wants."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will come out.
The human says at this point, "Well, if you would prefer to take this into more private quarters, we could certainly do that."
And this is the human with the ravens on his shoulders.
No, this is the human wearing the tabard, who's right next to you.
Gotcha.
The raven guy is way over in the corner. He's not there.
Gotcha. Okay.
But at this point, he's like turned over and he's like looking towards you all, like he's paying attention. The two guys on the chairs, they're paying attention. Basically, everybody in this place is paying attention, except for Barros, who's gone to bed.
Gotcha.
Okay, I want to walk to Nalla and I will ask, why are you looking for that guy?
Who?
What
Who
do
are
you need
asking?
him for? The human guy.
And he says to you, "I've been sent here with a very specific edict to take him back to Vril. I'm not going to say more than that out in the open."
Okay. Maybe we should talk somewhere else. Let's kick down Barros' door.
He turns and says, "Toblin, can we use the room in the back?" Toblin says, "Oh yes, no problem. Go right ahead." And he's like getting this air of like wanting to bring things back to the sort of celebration it was before. He's not a fan of this tense atmosphere. The human man walks off towards the back corner of the room and like opens a door, which presumably to a storage closet, but opens it and it's a meeting room of some kind, more private. So like if someone wanted some privacy to go drinking, like this would be where they would go. There's a couple benches there, and Belisarius turns towards you and says, "Well, after you."
All right. Nalla goes for it.
Einar, William, Cinta. And the three of them over in the corner, they all stand up, and like the human particularly is having difficulty. And he like walks over to the stage and like hoists himself down with the help of the elf. They walk in. The Skaven walks in. Kuturana. Belisarius walks in.
So right now it's just me and all of them.
Plus
I went
Eryn
with
would be there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Erifror, what are you doing?
Taking my 2 mugs of ale and walking with them.
Okay. And you walk in with them. And he turns and says, "And who is this?"
Turns to who?
Motioning
Erifror?
towards Erifror.
Well,
He's about to close the door and he sees like this dwarf like walking towards, and he's not been introduced. So,
he's with us. He's good.
all right, inside.
Just a friendly ale drinker of the party.
He takes it and just like downs it in one, and just like throws it to the side.
Okay, so the three adventurers, Cinta, who's apparently an adventurer with them now, and the guy who was asking about the wizard, is all
Plus
of them.
William. William is also there,
Gotcha. Okay.
and that's it. Yeah.
He's alive.
But William and Cinta, they were like beat up prisoners.
Super
right?
beat up.
Okay.
Very, very tired looking. You can see the hollows of their eyes and stuff, and like you can still see. It's got, like, William has particularly bad like scarring across his face now.
Gotcha.
And William, actually, you can see he's uncomfortable with his armor, and he kind of like shrugs it off, and it just basically falls to the side with a sort of like clank. And he just goes and takes a seat in the corner, just like exhausted, even with just that exertion. And Belisarius like closes the door behind you, and just like stands in front of it. Kutarana, everyone else is sitting on the bench. William is off to the side. Sildar is standing up at the head of the table. What do you guys do? Where do you go and stand? Or sit?
Just sit down at one of the tables.
So
Oh, okay. So that other dude that was Sildar the whole time,
that's Sildar.
the one that was asked.
Yeah.
No, not Cinta. The guy who was questioning us.
Yes,
Sildar.
that was
Sildar. Okay, gotcha. It makes it a lot easier if it's just, this character does this, instead of trying to keep track of all the characters by, like, the description. Okay, so then, talking to Sildar. Okay, so please tell us more about why you're looking for this guy.
Well, he was a former member of the Order of Regis, and I've been told to bring him back to Vril. That's the whole reason for me being here, so I'm looking for him. He was in the manor, and we had plans to take him, but you say that he has run away and you don't know where he is.
Ah, yes, I see. One other thing. I'm curious if you know... Shit, what's her name? Halia Thornton.
His eyes like narrow and say, yes, I know her.
Okay, well, you seem like reasonable. So, the man that you're looking for is with Halia.
Why?
I don't know. She did not tell us, but she has him.
Why did you lie to me?
Well, I don't want to let everyone know everything.
I'm sure. Belisarius turns to you and say, and why were you trying to help her?
Well, she said she pays us well if we get him, so we tried. It didn't work out exactly as planned, but she does get him.
Did you get paid?
Not exactly.
Something went wrong. And Sildar like turns towards Belisarius and says, "You don't need to antagonize him, Belisarius. Her, sorry, don't need to antagonize her, Belisarius."
Oh, I was about to say that.
And Kutarana turns and says, "I don't understand. What? Who is this woman? Female, girl, woman? Who is she?" She asked to Sildar, and then he's like floating between Sildar and you, Nalla, like going back and forth as he's like looking at this. Einar says, "Yes, I'm particularly curious about this myself as well. Who is this fellow?" And he turns to Cinta and like asks him, "Cinta, do you know anything about this fellow?" And Cinta like immediately avoids his gaze, like turns away from him, and says, like looks down at the table. And says, "No, like, I heard some of the guards talking about a man named Glastaff, and that was who we were looking for. I never saw him though." And William like turns and like he like crops up a little bit and like looking towards each of the different characters, and then he just like he just sighs and like goes back into like a hunch position. Sildar says, So, this wizard, Iarno, is with Halia Thornton just now.
Yes.
And you have no problem telling me that.
No, why would I?
You're employed by her.
Well, we were.
No loyalty, I see.
Well,
Somewhat rocky relationship?
you maybe say that, yes. She's a little strange, I think. Well,
So, let me get this straight. You were employed to abduct this wizard, correct?
Oh, no. Ask very nicely.
You tell me in your own words, what were you employed to do?
Bring the wizard very nicely to Halia. Well, but please, explain. Why do you want this wizard? You need to
told you.
bring him to rule, but why?
I have an edict to do so. My duty.
Okay. But why?
Why? Because it is my job.
Okay, but someone gives you a job, so why do they want the wizard?
I don't know. I don't ask. It's my superior's question. If you want to go and ask her yourself, you're welcome to do so.
Maybe.
There are further reasons to that, but I'm not just going to be sharing them with you. Or personal reasons.
Ah, I see. Well, I share, so I just thought you would also.
It has no bearing on this. My questioning, though. Halia has the wizard now, in spite of your failure in this, yes?
Yes.
Does she know anything?
Well, she knows magic, so that is something.
I mean, did you... She clearly wanted him for a reason, correct?
I don't know. Why don't you ask her?
I plan on asking her. And, Belisarius turns towards you and says, did you give her anything? Was there any information? Because she approached us with the same request.
Oh, and why did you not accept?
Didn't seem like the right thing to do. I did not get the right idea from her, so I came here.
Oh, I
And
see.
I asked Sildar. Sildar told me to be careful of her. And Einar kind of says, yes, we got a bit of a strange vibe from that one. We didn't really like her all that much, so I didn't really want to interact with her all that much. And Belisarius says, just like
Strange vibe. That is not a very good reason to not take job, but whatever.
Well, when a woman asks you to abduct someone, that's not in our line of business. And I'm surprised that it's in yours.
Aren't they here?
Well, to be
No.
fair,
Magician?
What's that?
well, to be fair, she never did say abduct. She said invite him.
What? And you think she was inviting him for tea?
Who knows? You don't ask your superiors, we don't ask ours.
She's not your superior.
Not
You're a
anymore.
freelance. You asked her if you had a job, if she had a job for you to do, and you accepted, regardless of the task, because you were being paid for it. Mercenaries.
Yes, we are mercenaries. This is no secret.
And Sildar, he's looking pretty fired and says, what is preventing me from telling the townsmaster about this? Abduction is illegal by any means, and certainly aiding somebody in abduction is also, regardless of if you're getting paid for it or not.
We did no abduction.
But that does not mean you intended to do it.
No, it doesn't say anything.
No, I will come out and I will say that she asked us to confront this person and try to like make him. She told us that she only wants to talk to this person. There is no implications of abduction in this. She asked us to go ask him if they can like to talk together. That's what we did.
Wait a second, though. Didn't you guys just say that you wanted to take him also? So what is the problem?
I didn't want to take him. I went in there to get these men out of there. And the townsfolk.
No, not you. I mean Sildar. I assume I know it's Sildar, like you said his name.
And he like turns and says, I was not here to abduct him, I was here to arrest him. There is a difference. I have legal verification in order to be able to do that.
Well,
do you have any documents to aid you, to show, to absolve you of anything here? Are you part of any organization that could help you in this matter?
Listen, if you go down there, it will be very clear that he was not a very good person. So if something happened to him, that would be okay. If you want proof of him being a bad person, just go down there and look around yourself, okay?
Einar turns towards you, Erifror, and says, but your reaction was very, very curious. Did you give anything to Halia? He is asking directly to Erifror.
We gave whatever she asked us to procure.
Sildar turns to you very quickly, Erifror, and he says, in plain comment, please.
I just said that.
What did you give her?
I can tell you that I gave her something, but
that was not my question. What did you give her?
We mercenaries, we still do have a confidentiality sort of agreement. So I can tell you that I gave her something, but...
Still loyal to her?
I wouldn't say loyal.
Confidentiality agreement?
What are you after, my friend? You know where he is, you can go get him.
Know what she has. What did you take from the manor?
I look at Nalla.
Yeah.
I raise my eyebrows. So, do you want to tell them?
Well, we found some papers, and that was part of the job, so we gave her some of the papers. This is all.
Belisarius turns to you and says, what was on the paper?
Lots of gibberish and how to make potion and some other... I don't remember.
That's a deception check with disadvantage.
I honestly don't remember.
Double 20, come on.
There was some stuff about the Spellforge I remember, and there was some other thing. Can I not roll it at disadvantage just because I honestly don't remember?
No. If anything, it would be an automatic failure because you don't remember.
A 1 and a 3.
Well, the disadvantage didn't matter if it's any consolation.
Yeah. I honestly I can't answer anymore. Honestly, though, I don't. There's nothing else I could. There's no more information I could tell them about that. Okay.
Einar turns towards you and says, "I could jog your memory if you like."
Oh, interesting magic. What? How would that work?
Turns towards Sildar. And Sildar says, "What are you talking about, Einar?" Einar says, I have ways to look into these sorts of things to see what exactly happened. Although I suspect that our friend here doesn't really want me to do that. Regardless, it is Erifror who was asking the question. I asked a question to Erifror. He is the one who seems to have given the papers over. He is the suspicious one who apparently gave her these papers. So what was on the papers?
I hate to kill a good moment and RPing, but we have reached that time. We are now over by about 6 or 7 minutes, the time that we all have scheduled for this. So as much as I would love to see the conclusion to this, I think it's probably best we cut this now and resume this when we start our next session.
Another cliffhanger.
I really want to see this interaction out. Like, if we make it into a 5th part, I would prefer that, but like...
I don't have time for a 5th part tonight.
Fuck. Alright. Cool. I have to remember everything that's going on now.
Yeah,
Right.
it definitely sucks ending here, just because of having to remember everything that was said already.
I know.
I wrote it down, so...
I'll very specifically, with a fine-tooth comb, watch this.
There you go. Alright, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and we'll see you next week. See you soon.